What if tonight, truly tonight, was the last time you ever struggled with sleep? What if the battle ended, not with effort, not with medication, not with frustration, but with something surprisingly gentle? Imagine lying in your bed, your room dim and quiet. The air is cool, the pillow is soft, and instead of bracing yourself for another long night, you feel calm, safe, unrushed. No racing thoughts, no clock watching, no anxiety about tomorrow, just a slow breath in and an even slower breath out. This is not just a story, it's a quiet shift, and by the time it ends, you may find you no longer need to chase sleep at all. There was once someone who believed they were just bad at sleeping. For years, bedtime had been uncertain territory. Some nights were manageable, others felt endless. They would lie down exhausted, physically drained, mentally spent, only to feel their mind switch on the moment the lights went out. It was as if darkness activated something. The body wanted rest, but the mind wanted to rehearse every conversation, revisit every mistake, predict every possible tomorrow. They began to fear the night itself, not because it was dark, but because it was quiet. And in that quiet, everything unresolved grew louder. They didn't know it yet, but insomnia wasn't their enemy. It was a signal. Each night followed a familiar pattern. 10:30 p.m., they'd brush their teeth, turn off the hallway light, and slip under the covers with cautious hope. For a few moments, things felt promising. The sheets were cool, the mattress supportive, their body pleasantly heavy. Then it started, a thought, small at first. Did I reply to that message? Then another. What if I forgot something important? And then the spiral. Their mind moved quickly, jumping from work deadlines to health worries to conversations from years ago. It replayed moments they wished they could edit. It imagined futures that hadn't happened. The room stayed still, but inside, everything raced. They would shift positions, flip the pillow, adjust the blanket, check the time, 12:14 a.m. Okay, they'd think, if I fall asleep now, I'll get 6 hours. But the math made it worse, 1:32 a.m. The anxiety deepened. Not sleeping became the new problem layered on top of the original one. Why can't I sleep? What's wrong with me? Tomorrow will be awful. Their heart would beat a little faster, their breathing shallower. The bed, once comforting, became a place of quiet pressure. They tried solutions: chamomile tea, white noise, melatonin, strict bedtime routines, no screens, earlier workouts. Some nights improved slightly, most didn't. The more they tried to control sleep, the more elusive it became, because sleep, they would eventually learn, does not respond well to force. Sleep is not a switch, it is a surrender, but they hadn't discovered that yet. Instead, bedtime had become performance, and every night felt like a test they kept failing. One night, after another long stretch of staring at the ceiling, something shifted. Not dramatically, not magically, just quietly. It was 2:07 a.m. They had already tried repositioning 3 times. They had already calculated how tired tomorrow would feel. They had already judged themselves thoroughly. And suddenly a thought appeared, not anxious, not urgent, just simple. What if I stopped trying? At first, it sounded like defeat, giving up, but exhaustion softened their resistance. Instead of forcing sleep, they whispered internally, I'm allowed to just rest. No goal, no deadline, no pressure to drift off, just rest. They placed one hand gently on their stomach and noticed their breathing. It was shallow, quick, so they slowed it. Inhale for 4, pause, exhale for 6. Not perfectly, not rigidly, just softly. The room felt different when it wasn't an opponent. They imagined the ceiling dissolving into a twilight sky. Above them stretched a vast field of stars, cool air brushing their skin. No walls, no clocks, no expectations. With every exhale, they imagined sinking slightly deeper into a patch of soft grass beneath them. Thoughts still came. You'll be tired tomorrow. Instead of fighting it, they responded gently. Maybe, and that's okay. The thought lost momentum. Another appeared. You should be asleep by now. They answered, there is no should. I'm just resting. Something subtle began to happen. Without the tension of chasing sleep, their body began to unwind naturally. Their jaw loosened, their tongue softened away from the roof of their mouth. Their shoulders melted into the mattress. They pictured themselves beside a slow river at dusk. The water moved lazily, reflecting a sky painted in lavender and deep blue. Fireflies blinked softly near the shore. Each thought that arose became a leaf placed onto the river. They didn't hold on to the leaves. They didn't analyze them. They just watched them float away. Breathing in, breathing out. The river carried everything. Time passed, but they didn't check it. For the first time in years, they were not fighting the night. They were simply inside it. And that changed everything. The real turning point wasn't when they fell asleep. It was when they stopped fearing wakefulness. On another night, similar to many before, they woke at 3:11 a.m. Normally, panic would follow. But this time, something was different. They noticed the quiet hum of the house, the distant whisper of wind outside, the gentle rise and fall of their chest. Instead of thinking, "Oh no," they thought, "I'm safe. It's just night." They didn't reach for their phone. They didn't calculate hours. They didn't brace for misery. They returned to the river. A silver moon hung above it now. The water darker, slower, the air cooler. They imagined stepping into a small wooden boat tied to the shore. It rocked gently beneath their weight. No oars, no destination, just floating. The boat drifted lazily with the current. No effort required. Their breath matched the motion. Inhale, the boat rises. Exhale, the boat falls. Their body understood something before their mind did. There is nothing to solve right now. And in that absence of problem solving, the nervous system quieted. The heart slowed. The muscles softened further. The mind lost its urgency. Sleep did not arrive because it was demanded. It arrived because the doorway was finally open. Because fear had stepped aside. Because control had loosened its grip. And even on nights when sleep took longer, there was no longer dread. Just rest. Just floating. Insomnia had thrived on resistance. Without resistance, it had nothing to feed on. That was the key. Sleep was never something to conquer. It was something to allow. The struggle ended not with a perfect routine, not with flawless habits, not with forcing the mind into silence, but with gentleness, with permission, with the understanding that resting is enough. When the fear of being awake disappears, the body remembers what it has always known how to do: drift, settle, restore, and so the nights became softer, not perfect, but peaceful. Tonight, don't try to sleep. Let go of the clock. Release the pressure. Give yourself permission to simply lie there and rest. Place a hand on your chest. Take one slow breath in and a longer breath out. Imagine the river, the boat, the quiet sky above you. If you wake in the night, remember, you are safe. You are resting. That is enough. And if this story brought you even a little calm, return tomorrow night. Let it become your ritual, your reminder. Sleep isn't something you chase. It's something you welcome. And it may already be closer than you think. Mooning.